Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to our F1 Manager Williams playthrough, Season 2, Round 15. We're heading to Holland, or the Netherlands, for the ZANDVOORT Grand Prix. And this is one I think is going to be good for Pierre and not very good for Theo. I think he might struggle a little on this one, but we shall see. We are, as you know, looking to replace him with Lando Norris at the first available opportunity, and he's a little way off, unfortunately. He's still not impressed enough with the team that is absolutely demolishing his own in the in the races and the championships, but never mind. So, ZANDVOORT, here is our overview. You can see where the two DRS zones are. The first one on the main straight is the most prominent one. The other one doesn't really do that much, but you can occasionally pull off a pass if you get a good run out of turn 10. In terms of sections by speed, you can see quite a lot of high and medium speed corners, just the one low speed section. Our car is pretty good in the high and medium speed, so this should be a fairly strong circuit for us. And there you can see the requirements. You need good acceleration, and you also crucially need good medium and high speed cornering in both normal cornering and dirty air as well, and we have that. We take a look at our car. You can see we are third and first in cornering and dirty air cornering as well. Our acceleration not so good, but our cornering speed is definitely going to come to the fore on this one. So yeah, I think this will be a strong race for Pierre. Theo, not so much. We know he tends to make a few mistakes, and I think this is one of those circuits that might cause him to make a few mistakes. So, fingers crossed it's not going to be that case for him, but we shall see. How you doing, Jeremy? Good to see you. Let's set our performance targets for the weekend. We have got a qualifying position of 12th. We can easily do that, I think. We're going to go both cars into Q3 and both cars into Q2. The fastest lap is the incentive. We should hopefully be able to get that. The guarantee finish position, we're going to go for 2 in the top 10. I always have to play it safer when I've got Theo as the second driver, because he just doesn't have the pace. If we had Norris, we could go a lot more aggressive with this, guarantee. We could go 2 in the top 6, maybe 2 in the top 5, 2 in the top 4 maybe. But yeah, we don't really have that luxury with a slower driver. In terms of our streaks, the quali position streak, 2 in the top 14, one more race needed to get that, so that'll be $1 million payout. And then the finish position streak, 3 of 5 done so far, 2 in the top 10 to finish. 2 more races will get us another 3.1 mil. So that's our objectives done. Let's head into the Grand Prix weekend itself.
It's another historic weekend of Formula One here at Zandvoort. The track has seen many unforgettable moments, like Gilles Villeneuve's 3-wheeled lap at the 1979 Dutch Grand Prix, which cost him victory. What excitement lies ahead this year? There's never a dull moment at Circuit Zandvoort. It's fast, very fast, with long straights and wide curves. But it also features 2 heavy banked corners, where aerodynamic improvements are sure to help our drivers. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season, and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. Stay right here, because we're just getting started.
Alright, quick look at the weather. We've got nice and clear Friday, slightly cloudy Saturday, and then rain on Sunday. It's moderate rain, so that means it could fluctuate between inters and full wets. I think it probably is going to at some point. So that'll make the race a bit more interesting. I'm going to give Logan a run in FP1 here. And let's start setting the cars up first of all. So I'm going to go with a 13 rear wing, a 9 front. We go 4.6 on the roll bar, A 3.1 on the... Actually, no. Let's go with a 3.5 on the camber, and then we'll push the toe up as well. And that's not going to fit. So let's try something a little different. Let's try a 5.5, a 10, a 3.1, and a 1. And that one does fit, so we'll try that setup on this car, and then for the second car we'll try the one that we just tried and wouldn't fit. So we'll go 9 on the front, 13 on the rear, 4.6, a 3.5 and a 1, and everything there is within tolerances. So there we go. Let's set up our run length. It's quite a fast lap, so I'm going to go 22 laps. Drop the pace down. Same for this car here. Actually, we'll go 20 laps because he's just looking to get the car set, not gain track experience. Now we need to swap out the car parts. So let's start with the engine. This is our weakest engine that's usable, so we'll use that one there. And a little bit more life left in this one, so we'll use that one for Pierre. For the ERS module we'll go with number 1 and number 3, and then for the gearbox, not many options in terms of gearbox. Those two are completely dead. That one is pretty much dead, so we'll have to stick with gearbox 4 for the first car. And we'll go with gearbox 6 for the second car. There we go. Alright, we are ready to head into practice.
Yeah, we can now, Radio check.
Radio check.
That's green light.
Those guys are out on track. Let's make sure that we are protecting the car as much as possible. And off we go. How you doing, Mr. Water? Good to see you. So who watched the Brazilian Grand Prix yesterday? What a great race. Brazil always delivers great races. It's one of my favourite Grand Prix on the calendar. Feedback coming up. Let's look at Logan's car first. Oh, no, it's
How is the balance,
first.
please?
80%, needs a bit of work.
Very, very nice job.
Copy that.
And bang on there with Logan's
where
car.
do you need
it's
help
perfect.
in terms of balance
So,
switches?
that gives us a little bit of a predicament. Let's call him in and put a little bit more fuel in the car. We just want to get him up to 500 points and then that's him done. How you doing, Anthony?
Oh, there's a spin!
And this is the last lap of Gasly's run. There we go. So we need to change the braking and the cornering. So let's see, everything else is okay. So we need a 13 rear wing. I've only got 2 setups with 13, and the first one wouldn't fit. Actually, no, we didn't try the first one, so let's try that. So that's 10, 13, it's a 5.5 roll bar, and then it's a 3.1. So this is the same setup we've got on Logan's car, and then a 1 there. Let's have a quick look at this. That's going to minorly affect the straights. So if we pull that back a little bit that way, and then that's probably a little bit too big of a change on the camber and the stability. So on the camber and the toe. Let's look at pulling the toe back in a bit like that. And let's see how that does. But yeah, great race yesterday at Brazil, absolutely fantastic, and it was great to see Mercedes up there and competitive for the first, well, not the first time, but you know, actually strong, really, really strong all the way throughout the race, and obviously a great debut win for George. You know, Hamilton, after his early contact, fighting back and getting second. Mercedes with a 1-2 technically in qualifying, thanks to the sprint race, and then in the actual race itself, you know, it's been a long time coming, and if they can now keep that level of performance going into next season, and Ferrari sort their shit out, because Ferrari are just being way too much Ferrari, then we will have 3 teams fighting for the championship next season, which is what I really had hoped would be the case this year. Alright, that's a full practice session done now for Logan. He's got his 500 points, no point in overworking that car. It's already perfectly set up. Bit of a nightmare race for McLaren. Both drivers failing to finish. Don't know what Ricciardo was thinking. I really don't. Not just in the case of the causing the accident, which, you know, you could put down to a racing accident. You know, a little bit clumsy, but then trying to go around the back of the Haas as it was spinning out of control. Just no, stupid mistake. Took himself out. And you've got to feel sorry for Magnussen as well. Please? You know, after that great qualifying and holding on for a point in the sprint race, to then get taken out halfway through the first lap. You know, that's a shame for him. Shame for Haas. They could potentially have held on for another point or two at the end of that race. And yet more drama between Ocon and Alonso as well. And of course, Max, being the most Max he's ever been, echoes of Vettel and his multi-21. Expects his teammates to do everything for him, but won't do anything for his teammates. You know, that was very much young Seb. And I can't help but feel that Red Bull have fostered and nurtured that environment, because they built everything around Seb when he was driving for them, and he had that super entitlement and that extra level of protection from the top. Mark Webber spoke about that many times, and it's a, you know, you can see the parallels between that era and the era they're in now with Max. He is essentially the new Sebastian Vettel, with the whole team focused around him, and everything's geared to protect him and do everything for him, and he won't do one little thing for his teammate, you know. Which didn't, it just hurted this teammate, it hurt the team as well. Red Bull have never ever had a 1-2 in the World Championship, because they've had that very selfish lead driver. They had it with Seb, and now they've got it with Max, and you know, it's costing them. Let's try. Trying to see what I can get away with in terms of tweaks here. Let's try that. I think that might break the front wing angle, but we'll try it for the next session. Run plan, we're going to go 21 laps, no, 22 laps again. Change the pace, switch onto the hard tyres. Teo needs a nice long run to make up for not running in the first session. So we're going to get him to run for 48 laps. And there we go.
The radio is good? You can hear me, yeah?
Radio check. Okay. Radio check. Okay.
Says he's starting to hate Red Bull. Nothing to do with Perez, not his fault. Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of Red Bull. They've always had this us against the world mentality, to an extreme degree, I think. They've always fostered you know, an atmosphere for one of their drivers to just do whatever the fuck he wants, basically. You know, since they got competitive. It was less so, you know, back when they had, you know, their early beginnings, when they were starting out. But once they reached a point where they were competitive, like really competitive, and they brought Seb into the team, they just let him get away with whatever he wanted to do. You know, sportsmanship, you know, regard for teammate be damned. They built their whole, you know, that they created and nurtured an environment that allowed them to get away with that. And that environment still exists with Max.
There's been a crash.
Yellow flag. Yellow flag.
And they've always complained about how they've been unfairly treated in the press, and yet they're a team that has always danced right on the edge of legality throughout their history in terms of what they've been able to try and do with their cars. When someone comes up with something that's perfectly legal, they'll protest it to the, you know, to high heavens. I mean, remember how they reacted to the double diffuser that Brawn GP came up with. Perfectly legal, protested it, you know, as you know, to the ends of the earth, and then finally, when it was finally made clear that, you know, this is legal, it's going to stay, they then went on and made a better version of it and got their car back into competition again. But when they were winning, you know, it was all about them. When they were losing, it was all Renault's fault. You know, I've never been a fan of Red Bull, and I've never particularly been a fan of Christian Horner. There's just something about him.
Wide.
Something that just seems a bit insincere. I don't know. I mean, I can only judge him based on the interviews that I've seen, and the way he sometimes comes across on television. And obviously I've never met the guy, so I don't know personally, so I have a very limited window as to what he's really like, but that's the impression I get from him.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
I don't like the way they treat their drivers either. They put them in this immense pressure cooker situation, and then, you know, the slightest inkling, and I realise almost a degree of hypocrisy starting to creep in as I'm talking about getting rid of Porsche because he's not delivering, but this is a video game, this isn't real life. In real life we wouldn't be in a, you know, we wouldn't be in this position. But, you know, they had this, you know, this factory farm of young drivers all competing for one seat, and when they finally do manage to get a driver in that seat, they bin them off within 12 months, you know, because they go, oh, it's not good enough. They put so much pressure on their drivers and then wonder why they buckle under that pressure. You know, you look at Dan Kvyat, you look at what happened to Gasly, you look at what happened to Albon. You know, these are talented drivers. Kvyat arguably the least of the three. But, you know, Gasly very talented, supremely talented, and Albon a very talented driver as well. And you look at what happened to them when they stuck them in that pressure cooker environment, you know, in this whole team built around their, you know, their teammate. It's no wonder they failed. Like, you know, it's absolutely no wonder that they never stood a chance. And you saw what happened to Gasly the second he went back to Toro Rosso and he was out of that hostile situation. He immediately became a much better driver again. And now they've got this Red Bull program, and they're not even considering drivers for their young from their program. You know, they signed Perez, which was a good signing. You know, I can't really argue against that. But you know, they've got Toro Rosso, or AlphaTauri as they are now, and you know, they had an empty seat going, and they could have chosen to try out one of their young drivers, but they went and signed Nick De Vries instead for their junior team, because that's essentially what Toro Rosso is, AlphaTauri. It's their junior team, and they didn't even trust the products of their academy in that car either. So I mean, I'm not to take anything away from Nick De Vries. He absolutely deserves a shot. He's waited very patiently for many years, and congratulations to him for finally getting one. But yeah, I don't like Red Bull. I don't like the way they go about their business. You know. How you doing, Hull? I've gone on a bit of a rant tonight, haven't I? Not quite sure where that's come from. Been bubbling under the surface for many years now.
Someone's run wide.
Another thing that really annoyed me about them was the way they repeatedly over several seasons in a row kept threatening to walk, not just with them, but with AlphaTauri or Toro Rosso as they were back then as well. They just threatened to pull both their teams if they didn't get the concessions that they wanted. And I know Ferrari are guilty of doing that in the past, you know, which again is kind of a shitty thing to do, but I mean, Ferrari has a lot behind it in terms of the name, the history. You know, Ferrari have been there since day one.
Sounds like we've had a spin.
And Red Bull you know, saw what Ferrari were occasionally able to do with their political power and thought, well, we've got twice as many teams here, let's do that even more so. I still don't know why they were allowed to buy two teams, and I don't know why they're allowed to keep two teams in this day and age when you've got other manufacturers that want to come in.
Okay, copy that.
I think they should be forced to give up Toro Rosso. Let another manufacturer buy that team out. Okay, Porsche's session is done. There's Gasly finishing his session. We got less than 50% on Teo. That's not so good. I was hoping for a bit more than that. We still need to do a little tweak on Gasly's setup. His track knowledge is pretty good, so we're almost there. It's going to be another long run for Teo in session 2. Session 3.
Welcome back to what is proving to be an exciting weekend of Formula One racing, with practice coming to a close today and qualifying set to follow. Drivers will need to perform with remarkable consistency if they're to secure a strong position on tomorrow's grid. It's not just about one moment of brilliance. No, they'll need to prove over the course of qualifying that they have what it takes to occupy those coveted places. You're going to want to join us for this, folks, so fasten your seatbelts.
Right, let's see. We want medium tyres, and we want another long run. Let's go with 45 laps. We can extend at the end if we need to. Medium tyres for Gasly, and we need to tweak his setup again. I'll have 2 bites of the cherry on this. So we went the wrong way. So let's pull that back. Let's go an extra click that way. Actually, no, that's saying that that is the best. Okay, so with that in mind, I don't think I can get away with doing that, because I think that's going to break too much unless I can do that. I hope that that doesn't break the rear wing. I don't think that's it. So let me try that. Let me see how that works. Yeah, there we go. That sets into practice 3.
Okay, radio check.
I mean, as I've said before, I don't really follow a team. I follow the drivers more. You know, I have soft spots for a number of teams, just based on the battles that they were involved in the eras that I've watched. So, McLaren and Williams, you know, soft spots for both of those teams, because I loved watching Senna and I loved watching Mansell, you know, battle it out in the early 90s. Ferrari, you know, you can't not have a soft spot for Ferrari. You know, they were supreme with Schumacher. Before that, you know, Jean Alesi, Mansell drove for Ferrari. You know, never liked Prost, so I was glad. I wasn't a great fan of Prost when he was at Ferrari, but I've never been a fan of Prost.
Watch those curbs.
But yeah, Williams, you can't not have a soft spot for Williams if you're a British Formula One fan. You know, with the Mansell era, then downhill, you know, in '96. You know, if you grew up in the era that I grew up in, there's the first lockup from Teo. Oh, and it's a big one.
Let's see what happened there. Now we see the Williams here.
Oh, that's not good.
And there we see the...
Is he still going, or is he
And
ripping the
that
car off?
was a bitter blow for the team.
He's still going.
And it
Okay.
may have really hurt their overall chances.
What other damage
that's
has he
a
done?
crash.
Minor chassis damage. Okay. Well, that'll get changed out after practice. But the new wing needs to be changed now. So yeah, McLaren, Ferrari, Williams, got soft spots for those. Mercedes, because again, I've got a bit of a soft spot for them because I've followed Hamilton, because he's a British driver. I was a huge fan of Button. So again, drove for Williams, drove for McLaren. Obviously, drove for Brawn. How can you not like Brawn, the underdogs? You know, winning their world championship in their one and only season. And you look at some of the other teams on the grid. You know, Alpine, they've had a bit of a checkered history. And Alpine are just meh for me. Aston Martin, I was never a huge fan of Force India. Didn't really like the way Vijay Mallya ran the team. Don't really like the way Lawrence Stroll runs the team, because he's building it around his son, who clearly isn't ever going to achieve the potential that he thinks he's going to achieve. You know, Haas, I'm not a massive fan of Haas, but I want them to do well because, you know, I think having a strong American team will be good for the sport, especially considering that we're going to America 3 times a year from next season, and we have American owners of Formula One. So having an American team that can do well, I think is only going to benefit the sport. Sauber, that is that plucky little underdog team that just keeps hanging on in there in its various iterations. And then obviously you've got the 2 Red Bull teams. How you doing, Matthew? Good race in Brazil. Yeah, a fantastic race in Brazil. Really enjoyed it. As I was saying earlier, one of my all-time favourite Grand Prix of the year, every year, Brazil. Always delivers something exciting. You'd like to see Alfa Romeo come good again? Well, yeah, that's Sauber. It's the plucky little underdog. I don't think Alfa Romeo as a team are going to come good until, you know, because Alfa Romeo are technically they're only a title sponsor. You know, they're a name on the car. That's it. They don't actually own the team.
Look at that! They run wide!
They just have naming rights on the team. It's effectively still Sauber, but I think and their deal runs out at the end of next season. So from 2024, I expect them to run as Sauber for 2024 and 2025, and then become full Audi in 2026. Yeah, I mean, Sauber have been one of those plucky little teams that just seem to punch above their weight from time to time. it would be nice to see them do well. I mean, they've given quite a few drivers their start. I think one of the most notable rookies was Felipe Massa getting his start at Sauber. Ironically, Sauber is also where Red Bull got their start as well in the sport as a sponsor before they ended up buying Jaguar and Minardi. And of course, Sauber went on to become BMW Sauber, and then just BMW, and then BMW pulled out, and the team went back to Sauber again, and then Alfa Romeo came in as a title sponsor, and now they've got Audi on the horizon. Isaac Magnussen, then Magnussen gets pole. Yeah, but Magnussen also crashed out on the very first lap, so Magnussen still finds a way to do a Magnussen. Although, yeah, it wasn't his fault really. It was Ricciardo's fault. Alright, we are getting this setup very wrong. I just can't seem to get it. Okay, so I need the toe to be there, but without moving the cornering. So if I do that, put that where it needs to be, which is about there. I can put that there, but then that breaks the front wing. So if I pull that back and do that, I then can't get enough, I don't think. I think that might break too many things, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go in quali. Porsche is actually going to get 100% track knowledge after his poor start to the session. That's good to see. Although he has done more damage to the car.
Fail 84, please. Fail 84.
Alright, so that's another 100%er in the bag for Teo. Done some serious damage to the ERS module on that car thanks to that crash, which is not so good. In terms of an engine, we want a pretty good engine here, but I don't want to really use either of those two engines. That one I'm saving for Monza, and then I want the two for the run into the end of the season. So we're going to have to go with this one, which isn't ideal. It's a little underpowered, but yeah, we'll just have to make do. So yeah, it's another ERS module wiped out. We have got enough to get us through the rest of the season though. And the gearbox took a little bit of a hit, but nothing too major. Over to Pierre's car. We're going to go with that engine. Again, we've got a 95% and a 96%. And the 96 we're saving for Monza. The 95 we're saving for the end of the season, the final few races. We're going to go with that ERS module, and we'll go with that gearbox. But an 88% engine, it will be more than enough for this race, I think. Just got to hope that that setup change that we made isn't going to knacker him up.
Radio check, can you hear me?
What happened with Porsche? He drove straight into the barrier at the start of FP3, locked up and smashed up the front wing and damaged the chassis as well. Right, let's get our guys out nice and early. Hope we don't get traffic. Any spins from Yuki yet? No, Yuki's been very quiet so far this weekend. Right, we catch Sainz in a good place. Not so good catching Verstappen, but we get past him cleanly enough with Porsche. So not ideal at times, but it's enough. They're going to be enough to get us through the session. Just can't get a break from lockups, can we? Well, we need to improve the braking on the car. It's not as good as it needs to be. I think I have another braking upgrade on the way. I'll have to check at the end of the race. So both our drivers comfortably in the top half here. We're not going to be going out again this session. And let's see where we end up based on slightly compromised runs at the end of the session. Okay, so both made it through to the top 10. We've got penalties for Leclerc, Vettel and Hamilton to be applied. They are probably going to be component penalties. Let's do a banker run on the scrubs at the start of Q2 with the option of going out later if necessary, but I'm hoping we can get through just on these tyres.
The radio is good. You can hear me,
I'm
yeah?
going to go straight out and hope that that gets me enough
Radio
clear
check,
air.
okay. Radio check, okay.
Who's following us out? It's one of the Haas cars. So that's got to be Magnussen because Schumacher wouldn't have made it through. Can we get out onto the start of the lap without traffic? Here comes Ocon. Okay. Both drivers get through without any real major issue there. Gasly might have been held slightly. He did, yes. Gasly was held. Because Porsche is never come close to out-qualifying Gasly. So, better prep new tyres just in case. how do we compare with all compared to the previous session? Can we see that? No, we can't. Not until the end of the session. Okay. We are looking pretty close to Leclerc. Wow, we're looking very close to Leclerc. I know these guys have probably set their times on scrubs. Yes, they have. Everyone set their times on scrubs, so if they go out on fresh tyres, which I'm expecting them to do, how much of an improvement are we likely to see? So these are at 81%, so about the same as the tyres that have just gone through. So we're looking at about 0.2 of a second difference in lap time, give or take. So I think both drivers should be safe. I think we've got enough of a gap. Looking to see who can step up. Russell, Ocon are the two that might improve. I think we've got enough. I'm hoping we've got enough in the car here. Otherwise, I've just made a very stupid mistake by not going out. No improvement, really. Russell did sneak into the top 10, knocking out Alonso, and then gets knocked out himself. Who got in? Oh, Ocon. Wow, Ocon's gone 5th. It's a big jump from him. Okay, big casualty there. Russell getting knocked out, having just managed to squeak in. That was a very big jump up from Ocon there. But it's very close look. I mean, you look here, you know, at a 1084, a 1084, a 1084, 4, 5 drivers all on a 1084. Very, very close session. And then you've got up front a 1079 for the two leaders. So half a second faster. We've got a little bit more pace in the car. We haven't had a clean run yet for both of our drivers. But we will have here and on brand new tyres.
Radio check. Radio check.
Radio check,
So
okay.
let's see what we can do. See exactly what our pace is going to be like. Okay, field's starting to go out. We want to go out with about 2 minutes to go. Everyone else is out. Send out both of our guys. Try and get them close on the track if possible, so I can get a slipstream for Porsche. Alright, here we go. Gasly goes purple in the middle sector. That's encouraging. And we go across the line. 3rd and 4th. I think the nature of this circuit is it's not disguising, but it's protecting the weaker engine of Teo here. there aren't any areas where it's full flat out all the way at maximum speed. There's a lot of fast areas, but it's flowing, so actually hitting top speed doesn't happen that often on this circuit, which is helping, you know, cover up the 77% engine he's got, 75% engine. So Teo could actually be on for a decent performance.
It's race day with the teams and drivers ready and raring to go.
Seeing how they did in qualifying, Williams are going to be the team to watch here. They'll be starting strong at the top of the grid and will have many opportunities to steer the race in their favour. We saw a reasonably good qualifying performance from Ferrari, and they certainly have a good chance to capitalise during the race. We've been having sunny weather here today, but there are some clouds looming that might complicate things for teams further down the line.
So it's time for some fighting between the sand dunes, here at the Dutch Grand Prix.
Okay, we know we've got some rain in this race. This could be what separates Teo from a really strong finish. But it's not going to hit till about halfway through the race, according to this, and it doesn't look like it's going to get too bad. There's one area where there may be a few laps that might need full wets, but apart from that, it looks as though it might be inters all the way through to the end. So let's set the strategy up for that. There we go. Mediums through to inters. Same for Gasly. Oops. Nuts. There we go. So we've got our strategies set. In terms of fuel, I'm going to take a little bit of fuel out. I'm expecting there to maybe be a safety car in this race. There usually is. We're going to go hot off the line with both drivers. We're starting second and third. Let's just take a look at the actual quali. You can see Leclerc with his penalty. That's going to drop him way down the order. Sainz a little off the pace. It's got to be using an older engine, I would imagine. Let's have a look actually at circuit info, powertrain usage. Sainz is still on his first engine. Yeah, so Sainz is going to be slow. Ferrari on their third engine for Charles Leclerc. 324. What's the penalty for Leclerc? Unless it's maybe... Did he cause a collision in the last race? Maybe. Maybe he caused a collision in the last race and it's a penalty carrying over from that. I don't remember seeing him hit anybody in practice. We are not going to go for the position gain bet, because while I think Pierre's got a chance of winning this race, I don't think Teo's got it in him to finish second. So let's see how we do.
I hope I'm not tempting fate here, but there are quite a few clouds overhead as we look at the lineup on the grid. And there we have Pierre Gasly. A second place start for them today. They're in with a real chance. And looking at the second Williams car. Starting in third place, they're in a really good position for this race. The race start is mere seconds away.
I think this is Teo's best qualifying position.
The drivers are ready and the crowds are waiting. It's the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Alright, we're going to stay on board with Pourchaire. Gasly's going to take the inside into the first corner. Pourchaire already under pressure from soft running cars.
Very good job.
Ocon has jumped us.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
Oh, 3 wide. It's never good.
Alpine just advanced.
Gasly is off into the distance, which is what we wanted. Verstappen's fought his way up into second. I think both the Red Bulls are on softs, aren't they? I know Verstappen's on mediums.
Doing very well. Come on, pick it up.
We've retaken third, that's good.
And a new position just gained by Williams.
And I'm actually going to get them to slow down at this point. I don't want to burn out all of their
Okay,
ERS.
I would like you to slow down, please.
And I think Pourchaire's best bet is to stick right behind Verstappen for as long
Need
as
to
he
drop the
can.
base.
Yeah.
Let's see if Gasly's got enough pace in the car to keep his 2-second gap, or if the train, especially once they start DRSing, might jump back at him.
Let's go recharge on.
So what I'm going to try and do, and it's going to be tricky with Ocon behind on softs, is I'm going to try and put a little bit of battery back in the car
DRS enabled. DRS
for
enabled.
Teo, and then use the DRS to try and slingshot past Verstappen on the start-finish straight next time around, and then try and sprint up to the back of Gasly and see if we can then get the two cars to pull away in tandem. One of the Astons has run wide. It's Joe.
Who's running wide there?
You can go recharge off if you want. Let's go recharge on, please. Recharge on.
Okay, here we go. Can we make this work?
Alright, buddy, push, push.
Up the inside. Through the wall. Whoops.
Excellent job, well done.
Right, I just need him to hold it together. Let's slow down Gasly a little bit to allow
Charge
Pourchaire
on,
to catch
charge
up
on.
a bit as well.
Yeah.
Just gonna hope I can pull away and get that 1 second gap. It's gonna be close. We haven't quite got the 1 second. Hopefully Verstappen doesn't close up too much. He hasn't. Can we pull out the 1 second here? Yes, we can, just. And we might just have caught DRS off the back of Gasly as well. Yes, we did. Excellent. So let's slow that down, slow that down, slow that down. Okay, so we've got Porsche into the
Can we do
wheel
lifting
tracks of
post?
Gasly now. And now let's hope
Charge off.
that our two drivers can work in tandem. And pull away from Verstappen. And hope that Ocon hassles and harries Verstappen into defensive driving and slow him down further.
Let's go recharge on.
If Mazepin was in this game, his control rating would be in the negative. It wouldn't be great, would it? Alright, Ocon's got through. That's not good. Means he's going to close the gap up to Porsche. Alright, now we need our guys to start leapfrogging.
Recharge off.
That's if we want this tactic to actually work. Okay, looking at the inside. I think he went through the wall again. Okay, let's just back him off a touch.
Okay, let's go recharge on.
Still holding the inside line. Okay, Gasly's the one who got the DRS.
Recharge off. Okay, recharge on.
Got to keep doing a little bit of piecemeal charging here, just to save on some unnecessary deployment, so we can actually get more battery in the car. Got to take advantage of every DRS zone we can here. Well, first tire's fading already, a little bit. Plus that Alpine isn't as fast as the Red Bull, so now that it's in front, now is when it's a good thing for it to be in front. Now that its tyres are worse than the Red Bulls. So far this tactic is working well. car's got Porsche fully recharged as well, which is nice. Just need to hold him on charge just a little bit longer if I can. She's in danger of dropping out here.
So a recharge off.
Leclerc has started from the back, so it must have been a component change. He's currently sitting 13th right now. Got himself clear of Stroll and is starting to hunt down the Mercedes, the McLarens. Verstappen finally gets back past Ocon. Let's take a quick look at the battle back here. So we've got Ocon, Perez and Sainz all on softer tyres, and they are now in a position where they're going to be dragged along by Verstappen on his better mediums. But they are going to have to pit before the rain comes, so those guys are probably out of contention now. So yeah, ideally we want them to get back in front of Verstappen and slow down Verstappen, because he is on the same tyre compound as us, so he can theoretically make it to the rain, as can Bottas, Magnussen and Leclerc and Hamilton. Everyone else on softs. There's a lot of people on softs. Porsche has passed for the lead. And Gasly's taken it back. Take a look further down the order. Let's see. There's a bit of a queue here behind Russell. Look at this. Bottas, Alonso, Magnussen, Norris, Ricciardo, and then hunting them down is Charles Leclerc. And look at the last lap time. He is half a second quicker on that train. How you doing, Farah? Where's Spinoda? He is here in 15th, ahead of Stroll and Hamilton. And there's Vettel. Okay, we head back up to the front. Porsche has the lead from Gasly. Let's try and put a little bit more battery in Gasly's car for a lap or two.
Ciao, John.
Okay.
Alright, we saved a little bit of fuel. Long way to go though. And Perez has got in front of Verstappen. Nope, Verstappen side by side. Let's just watch the two Red Bulls battling it out here. Sainz starting to drop off the back of this group if he's not careful. And Verstappen getting DRS did close the gap down just a little bit. plus Pourchaire is leading at the moment over Gasly, so the slower of the two drivers is the one that's setting the pace. Wait, did I just... I thought I saw a Ferrari in front of my car for a second then, but then I realised I was probably watching the back of Sainz's car popping into shot. It was very strange for a second then. Alright, Gasly's fully charged. Let's get him back onto neutral.
Charge off.
Okay.
But you can see Verstappen now definitely has a grip advantage over the cars behind. They can't close up enough to threaten him. All they can do is stay with him. And as the tyres continue to degrade, they will eventually drop off the back. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. If Pourchaire and Gasly can get back to swapping places again, then it will give them an advantage in lap time over Verstappen, who will be isolated. You see he's almost broken the 1 second barrier to his teammate there. You can see 0.6 of a second faster than Pourchaire is Verstappen, so we do need Gasly to get back in front. And there he goes. Around the outside, retakes the lead. Gap's holding it around 2 seconds. I'd like it to be a little higher if possible. Pourchaire finally seems to be coming good just at the time that we're thinking of getting rid of him. Going to make me look like the bad guy, but I mean I do have a definite plan for the team, which involves building it around Norris and Oliver Behrman as the young driver coming up to eventually replace Gasly. That is the plan that I have. It's the plan I'm going to stick to, but if Pourchaire does keep this run of form up, we'll give him to the end of the season as opposed to an immediate replacement, which is what we were initially going to do. And then I kind of lost some patience and I'm like, right, that's it. It's the first available opportunity, he's gone. Now he's doing enough to hold his seat for the end of the season. He's got a few races to keep himself in position. Of course, if it all goes to shit in the very next race, then my position may well change again. Yeah, this is his strongest showing yet this season. Yeah, I'm very impressed. See if he can keep it up for the whole race. Porsche seems to be playing Mick Schumacher Simulator 22 right now. Maybe. But speaking of Mick Schumacher, I have just started season 3 on my Mercedes-5, the 2024 season, and Hamilton's contract has not been renewed. So after back-to-back world championships for him, he found out a 9-time world champion and has gone to Williams, of all teams. And I have signed Vettel to replace Hamilton. So I've promoted Mick to the #1 slot in the team. He's now the #1 driver. Vettel has been signed as the #2 car driver. Still training up Beckman as my reserve. Although I'm starting to think he won't ever be good enough to really get in the team. So I have a strong German lineup. Mick got his first win last season, but it was utter domination from Hamilton last year. It was the most dominant Formula 1 season in history. 21 wins from 22 races. The only one he didn't win was the one that Mick beat him in. So I've been thinking about how we're going to run 2 separate save files across the week. And what I've been thinking is that Mondays and Tuesdays we do Williams, Wednesdays and Thursdays we do Haas, and then Friday we just do the Pop-Up Friday that we were talking about. Or maybe we start another career. So I'll throw it open to you guys. If we were to start a new career, I could potentially do a stream on a Sunday night as well. Potentially, but I'm not going to confirm. I'm not going to, I'm not going to guarantee that yet. But how about we do Williams Monday, Tuesday, Haas Wednesday, Thursday, and then we start a brand new team for Friday. If so, what team would you like to see on Friday? We could go McLaren, we could go Aston Martin. Alpine would be one option we could do, but I mean they've got a very strong car, they've got a very strong lineup, and a very decent budget and very good staff, so that would get very easy very quickly. McLaren would be a bit more of a challenge. They've got good drivers, they've got terrible good facilities, terrible car, but a big budget. Aston Martin, terrible staff, terrible facilities, terrible car, okay lineup, big budget. I should do Alpha. Well, I could do Alpha, but again, I mean, with Bottas and the strength of that car, it's going to be very easy to keep that car competitive all the way through first season. Personally, I'm leaning between either McLaren or Aston Martin. If I were to pick one of the, it would be one of those two. What about you guys? What would you like to see? See, Matthew likes McLaren. Mr. Watt wants to see Aston Martin. How about you, Anthony? Would you like to see Aston Martin popping in? How about Mercedes and sacking Hamilton? Well, who do you want to see instead of Hamilton? That would be the thing. Just going straight through the wall again there. Gasly this time. No, Porsche again. He just loves cutting through that wall. We are keeping Verstappen at bay, despite him having a faster car, which is good. And we are seeing the others dropping off. You can see their tyres really starting to go off now. How far away is the rain? It's still another 14 laps away. Give or take. Yeah, I'll do a poll. I'll stick a poll up on the channel. But it won't start this week. It'll start next week, whichever team we do. So I'll leave the poll up for a while. But this Friday I'm going to do a random race on my Mercedes file. So whatever race I'm up to, you'll see Schumacher and Vettel racing for Mercedes. I'm at race 2 at the moment. I've only done race 1 of the first season. I think. I might have done 2 races, I'm not sure. I could do AlphaTauri, but if I did AlphaTauri I'd have to get rid of Gasly because I don't want to replicate drivers that we're using on existing files. I mean, if we go McLaren, it opens up the opportunity to bring back Piastri because he's no longer in our Haas playthrough. But it also gives us opportunities to explore other drivers as well, like maybe Vesti. He is a Mercedes young driver program. So he could potentially go into McLaren through that affiliation as their reserve driver. We'd have Norris again. If we did that. But we'd have Ricardo. I mean, we could set some very specific rules where we're only allowed to upgrade, each facility once per season. For example, we're only allowed to replace staff at the end of their contracts and not just do immediate replacements, things like that. So, Ricardo would be there for all the first 2 seasons because he has 2 years left on his deal. There'd be no buyout with his contract. Someone has spun. Who has spun? Oh, a crash as a result of the spin.
Sounds like a single car.
Again.
Here's the replay. Let's take another look. There we have Joe.
Yeah, into the barrier. Verstappen's closing in, and you can see the gap that's opened up now between Verstappen and then the chasing pack on softs. We're going 3 wide into that corner. We're going to see them scrambling for the pit lane very soon, I think. Staying out another lap. I mean, those softs can just about squeeze to lap 30, I think. It's getting pretty close to the cliff, though. And Verstappen is definitely hunting us down. Maybe Verstappen is speeding up a little bit because he's getting ready for a pit stop of his own. It's a bit early. Between Aston, McLaren and AlphaTauri, I think so. We're already doing Williams, we're already doing Haas. There's no point doing Mercedes because unless you do what I'm already doing on my current playthrough, and I don't really want to have to go through getting through to that point again, there isn't much point because Mercedes is just too strong. I mean, you can win both World Championships in the first season, which I did on my farm with Mercedes. Red Bull and Ferrari, just too strong. There's no point. I think the one downfall that this game has is that you can't go wrong on development. You can't go backwards. No matter what you do, the car always gets stronger. And none of the other teams have big breakthrough moments that see them propel up the order. Or at least in my experience so far, that seems to be it. So I like the idea of taking a team from the bottom part of the grid and bringing it up to bring an extra team into that top battle, rather than taking a team at the top and just taking it even further away from the rest of the field. That's why I'm enjoying this Mercedes, this Williams car so much. Okay, here we go. The soft runners are in. Ocon, Perez, Sainz, Russell, Norris, all jumping into the pits. Verstappen has caught us now. Porsche has led a few too many laps in this run, unfortunately, which has allowed him to close up. Fuel saving has gone quite well from the DRSing. We saved about half the fuel we need to so far. We've still got more than half the race to go. If Verstappen does get past us, we should be able to stay with him. He hasn't got that much of a pace advantage on us, and we'll have to DRS. And hopefully, with 2 cars at the front, we can certainly keep them under control. Rain's going to be coming pretty soon. We are 7 laps away, 6 laps away from our pit window at the end of this lap. Okay, we've got Zhou coming up in front of us. Leclerc up to 4th now. He's fought his way through the traffic, and obviously with those pit stops helping him out, he's up to 7th. Hamilton's still trailing down in 7th. He is now ahead of the soft runners that have already pitted, but obviously he has yet to make a stop of his own. His tyres are going to be a bit spongy compared to their brand new tyres. What have they gone on to? They've gone on to hards. That's something the AI doesn't take into account as well. They never take the weather into account when they plan their strategies. You know, they could have either started on mediums or hards with the knowing that the rain was coming, but obviously they just stick to the usual dry strategy. And then, you know, if they started on softs, they could have thrown on another set of softs and been quick and come back through the field again, but they've gone for hard tyres. The worst possible choice with rain just a few laps out. That's something that needs to be improved upon, I think, for future iterations of the game. We are literally blocking Verstappen at every opportunity, driving side by side. You can't go through here, can't go through here. Oh, now he's gonna go through. Don't tell me he's gonna get both of them. No, just push it.
Right, head down.
Oh, Porsche is going to be able to box him in behind the Aston Martin. Nope. The Aston Martin boxes us in. Okay, so now we are going to have to use some battery to get back onto onto Verstappen again. I'm going to see if I can break away from Verstappen as well.
Only can use the deploy.
Copy.
Probably should have been a bit quicker to react to that, but never mind. Okay, one lap of pushing
Push hard, push hard.
to really stretch that gap out if we can. And maybe see if we can set
No
a new
lift and
fastest lap.
coast required from our side at the moment.
Right, that's the 1 second gap. Just keep going for the rest of this lap. It's gone purple in the first sector. Purple in the middle. And green across the line, but it is a new fastest lap for Pierre Gasly. Porsche's almost on the back of Verstappen.
Very
again.
good lap.
DRS disabled, DRS disabled.
Oh, so close.
Come on.
Need to drop the pace.
Copy.
And we have rain coming.
Oh, it's starting to rain already. Okay, so we're boxing.
rain on the track.
And that's actually worked out quite nicely in terms of having a little bit of separation between our two drivers.
A bit more on the tires.
Yeah.
How is the track getting wet? Because it's raining. We knew rain was coming, it's just come a little bit earlier than our weather centre, which isn't great, predicted.
Okay, charge John.
Copy.
It's very light rain at the moment. I mean, if you look at the prediction, it was always going to be a very, very small bit, and you can see a little bit of rain. It's very, very light, but you can see on some of the camera shots a little bit of rain. Okay, so let's ride with Porsche. Verstappen being held up beautifully here by Leclerc. Gasly ahead of Bottas. He's going to pull up a nice big gap now. Just going to hope that Porsche doesn't get held up badly himself.
Okay, we'd like you to slow down, please.
Oh, this is perfect. Verstappen struggling to get past Bottas.
Good job, keep it up.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
Ah, damn it. Come on, make the move. There we go. Bottas peels into the pits. Let's go neutral.
So we will go recharge off.
Neutral. So we've got a little bit of battery in the car. But I have seen some people complaining that the weather centre is too erratic with the most recent patch, even with 100% weather centres. It just doesn't hold true to what actually happens on track.
Charge off.
Okay.
Gasly has a nice 9-second lead now. Porsche 2 seconds off the back of Verstappen. He's not going to catch Max. Max is too good in the wet against Porsche. So I think we'll be lucky if we can at least stay with him. Oh, and he's spun. Didn't hit anything though, that's good.
It's a spin! Let's take a look at the replay. Now we see the Williams here. Oh dear, oh dear,
Just
oh
kept
dear.
it out the barrier.
The car's just gone.
Where's Magnussen come from? He started on mediums. He was one of the few drivers that did. So while most of the field started on softs and then pitted, Magnussen didn't. And then, you know, when he made his stop onto Inters, he obviously got a nice clear run and didn't get held up like, you know, like Porsche and Verstappen did. Don't forget, Verstappen lost a lot of time. He lost 7 seconds to Gasly, stuck behind Bottas and who else was it that was in front of us? Bottas and Leclerc. And Porsche has obviously lost a bit of time from his spin. He lost about 5 seconds from his spin. But even so, Magnussen is still another 13.5, 14 seconds back. So it's not that he's suddenly shot up in terms of, you know, closing the distance. It's just that everyone else has had to make extra stops. And Magnussen's the lead driver at Haas as well, so when it comes to a situation where there's a potential need for a delay in the pits, sometimes teams will double stack, sometimes they won't. They'll send one driver out for another lap. Magnussen's always going to be the one that gets called in first, unless Schumacher's ahead of him for comfortably ahead. Well, not Schumacher, it's Tsunoda at the moment. So yeah, Magnussen's always going to get that call first. So he gets onto the tyres at the right time, and that's how he's got his way up to fourth. He's actually doing us a big favour by holding up Leclerc, and it keeps that Ferrari from trying to fight its way through, because that Ferrari has got a new engine in it, we think. Starting to get a little bit of spray kicked up in the higher speed sections. Porsche is still kind of holding his own against Verstappen. He's only a couple of tenths a lap slower. I thought the gap would be more than that. Gasly's more than holding his own against Verstappen right now. They're lapping within hundredths of each other. And Bottas is closing in on the back of this battle. You can see he was half a second quicker on the previous lap. There he is. And that's Sainz in the background, also closing in. Everyone's going to be closing in on the back. You see Hamilton, Ocon, Perez, they're all lapping faster than Magnussen is right now. And this could be the pass here. Can Leclerc get the move done down the inside? He can. And I don't think Magnussen's going to be able to come back at him. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see a 1:16 for Leclerc on this lap. Oh wow, Gasly at a fast lap. Oh, that's happened as well, so the track seems to be drying out slightly. Yeah, it is, it's drying up. And Leclerc looks like he's got a second gap now, give or take. It's going to be a very quick lap from Leclerc. 15.8, second quicker. Okay, looks like we have a bit of traffic in front, and that looks like it is Alex Albon. No, it's Stroll. No, that is Albon. Stroll is a little bit further up the road. Alex looking forlornly at the back of the rapidly disappearing Williams going, that should have been me. So the gap between Porsche and Verstappen has increased up to 8.5 seconds now. Still holding at just under 9 seconds between Gasly and Verstappen. Leclerc is going to start hunting down Porsche. And the next 32 laps, I think he's probably going to get him. Where's the spin in spin odor at the moment? It's just odor. It's possibly coming. He's fighting off Stroll. We're about to come up to him here.
Keep an eye on the fuel, please.
Fuel is fine.
Yeah.
Got 30 laps to save that little bit of fuel. It's more than enough time.
Watch for fuel.
Yuki's doing a good job holding back Stroll here. Can he keep the inside line covered? Stroll tries to get his nose in, can't, and here comes Gasly to lap the pair of them. Stroll pulls aside to let him through. Now Yuki pulls over. Oh, and he gets got.
Oh, they've run wide!
Right, let's see what other battles are still going on. We've still got Magnussen holding off Bottas. Sainz gradually eking up on the back. Well, I don't know if he is catching. He is. About half a second a lap, slowly. Hamilton's closing in as well. And so's Ocon. And Perez. Hell, even Norris is closing in as well, but he's a bit far back yet. But yeah, in about 10 laps time, if Magnussen keeps holding everyone up, we could see Sainz, Hamilton and Ocon and maybe even Perez all joining the back of that train there. Oh, and here comes Bottas up the inside. No. Magnussen switched to the inside, Bottas went to the outside, can't make the move. Magnussen having a really good race here. This place is worth a lot of points to Haas. He's going to be fighting tooth and nail to hang on to those as long as he can. And Sainz is now very much on the back of these two. Russell struggling at the moment, down in 14th, stuck behind Alonso and Ricciardo. He's not been having a great weekend. And here's the full wet weather that we were expecting around lap 50. I'm going to tough it out on inters. I'm not going to change tyres. Let's see if the AI blinks here. See if anyone goes onto full wets. I think Alonso's blinking, actually, as soon as we say that. Let's have a look. Alonso has gone to full wets. Interesting. Alright, let's keep an eye on his sector times. He's a lap down, but let's see how quickly he can close in on Vettel. Let's see if he closes in on the back of Gasly, actually, who is right in front of him on track. I mean, he should do, theoretically, but I mean, you can see that rain level looks like it's already starting to drop off a little bit. There will be more, potentially more heavy rain to come. Nobody else has taken that gamble yet. It's just Alonso, and it looks like it's going to backfire. Because he's not going to be able to unlap himself, so he's not going to be able to go as fast as he has the potential to on those tyres. And pretty soon they're going to be backing into range anyway. I think Alonso's made a mistake here. Uncharacteristic of L plan. Nobody else, yeah. No one else has gone onto wets. I could pit Porsche and get an undercut. There's no need. These tyres will go to the end. Oh, Bottas is making a pit. Oh, surely he's not going for wets. He is. Bottas is going for wets. I mean, the sky's got darker, the track looks wetter, but it's actually getting drier. And I know there's probably a little bit more heavy rain coming, but right now, the water level just doesn't match the conditions. See, Alonso's actually losing ground to Gasly again now as the track's drying up. Verstappen's closing in because he is one of the best in the business when it comes to changeable conditions like this. Plus we had a couple of laps where Alonso was nipping at our heels, which wouldn't have helped. Is fuel alright? Yeah, we started with like minus 1.5 kilos, and as you can see, we saved over a kilo of fuel. We've still got 24 laps to go. Got more than enough time to save that a little bit. We'll be fine. Alonso is definitely falling back. These are the wrong tyres. Bottas is going to start dropping back from Norris. The only thing that's keeping him close at the moment is the performance of his car and the fact he's got a little bit more grip in his tyres, but yeah, he's going to have to come in and he's going to have to get rid of these wets at some point. And now look how far Alonso is behind on the mini-map compared to where Gasly is. You can see that gap's getting bigger and bigger every lap. So Magnussen has got Sainz right behind him. Obviously Bottas jumped out of the way of Sainz there. But Magnussen's still holding up the Ferrari. What engine supply am I using? I'm using Renault. Hamilton is closed up, he's now just 1.5 seconds behind this battle. Clumsy from the Aston Martin driver there. Which one was that? Was that Zhou? It was, yeah. Zhou definitely getting in the way of a few people there. It's cost Sainz 1.5 seconds. Cost Hamilton a little bit of time as well. It's allowed Ocon to really close up. He was 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds back. He's now gained about 1.5, 2 seconds. The gap to Red Bull is stabilising again at the front of the field. We're actually lapped, yeah, about a 10th difference. Porsche, let's see what he does across the line. Leclerc is definitely hunting him down. I think he might be okay. He might still hold on for the podium. A 16.9. Leclerc I'm expecting to do a 16.7, 16.6. Oh, it's 16.5. Maybe he will catch Porsche in the remaining 22 laps. Isn't Renault the most fuel efficient engine? It is, yeah. Has a 60% fuel efficiency. Very lonely race for Teo, just pootling around in third at the moment. Hopefully it stays lonely and he doesn't have Leclerc for company in the closing stages. Gasly has done what he needs to do, just kept things nice and steady at the front. Verstappen, as predicted, just him and Gasly just drove away from Porsche. The rain was always going to be the big level here, but Porsche acquitted himself well when it was dry. But as soon as it started raining, his low adaptability score didn't do him any favours. We go back to this battle here. Sainz is caught back up to Magnussen. Hamilton closing back in again. Ocon all over the back of Hamilton. We are above the tyre prediction line. These tyres should make it, but I am toying with the idea of pitting. to wait and see what the AI does. Speaking of, Bottas and Alonso still on those wets. Are the Alphas still on wets? Yeah, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. They are still on the wet tyres. This isn't the first time in our playthroughs that we've seen the AI do something weird with tyres. We've seen Red Bull go on and stubbornly stick on the wrong tyres before at Monza. We saw it with Alpine as well. I think both of those were on our Haas playthrough. Sainz just can't find a way through at the moment. Bottas is about to get lapped. Oh, Alonso pits, finally. Finally pits to get off those wets. So it means Bottas, who's in the process of being lapped now by Gasly, is going to be coming in at the end of the lap. Gasly actually coming up to the back of Russell and Ricciardo here. He's just lapped Vettel. So Alpha thrown away big potential, well, not potentially big points, but they've thrown away points here. I mean, Bottas was what, 6th behind Magnussen. He was on for decent points and then pitted for wets for no reason whatsoever. At a point when Alonso's wets were already losing their advantage and the track was going back to the inters, then Bottas came in and put wets on himself, and that's just destroyed his race. Look at him now, down in 17th. He comes out and gets lapped by Porsche in the process. He's fallen so far down the order.
Keep an eye on the fuel, please.
Okay.
Fuel's fine. It's not a worry at all. We've got a 4-car battle developing here. Leclerc 7 seconds to Porsche. He is closing that gap.
Watch for fuel.
And this 4-car battle is going to very quickly become a 5-car battle. Perez is closing in on the back of this group as well. Fast is Leclerc closing. Oh god, a second on that last lap. Mind you, Porsche was getting through some traffic, so let's see what the gap is this time, and what the times are this lap. Very tricky circuit to overtake on if you don't have a massive power advantage or DRS. Or both in some cases. As Sainz is finding out here. Will it go to dries again? Unsure. The forecast says no, but the forecast is behind what's actually going on track, so it's possible that the rain may stop for the last few laps. Alright, so last lap Porsche 14.9, 14.6 for Leclerc, so 0.3 of a second. That's okay. It's going to make it a bit squeaky bum time at the end of the race, but at that pace, it's still got a chance of holding him off. Two cars between them at the moment. Sonoda and Albon. Hamilton now all over the back of Sainz. Sainz having to go defensive instead of offensive there. And Perez has joined the back of this queue. So who do we think is going to make the overtake first? Because something's going to have to give. And I think Hamilton might get Sainz as Sainz tries to go for a move on Magnussen and gets boxed in. This rain's definitely helping out Magnussen. He'd have been passed by all of these guys if the DRS was open. Could Porsche push to re-overtake Leclerc instead of being overtaken? There's only 13 laps to go. I don't think so. I don't think he's got enough pace in these conditions. If it was dry, yes, I think I could probably get away with doing that, but not in these conditions. His adaptability score isn't great, so as you can see here, you know, catching is one thing, passing is another. There's enough similarity in the pace of the cars that Porsche has got a decent chance of actually staying ahead if he does get caught. And at the moment, he's not going to get caught. If he just closes by 0.3 of a lap, he's not going to get him. Could Gasly reduce his pace slightly? He could, but I don't want to take the risk. I've got a 7-second lead, so I'd like to keep that gap as it is. I don't want to give Verstappen a sniff. I don't need to save tyres because tyres are the same for everybody. As you can see there, the only people on fresh tyres are Bottas and Alonso, and they're completely out of contention over a lap down. So right now, I'm more concerned about Gasly not quite saving fuel. His tyres could fall off the cliff, but yeah, his tyres are wearing at exactly the same rate as Verstappen, so if his tyres go, Verstappen's go at the same rate, so it's not an issue. And Leclerc's tyres are about the same as Porsche's again, so it's not really an issue in that respect. The only thing I would like to do is try and get some battery into the cars, but it's too risky. We're going to lose a lot of time if we do that. So we just have to make do with what we've got. Come the last couple of laps, we should have an extra, couple of tenths of a kilo of fuel to play about with, which will help. Gasly coming up onto the back of Russell, who has broken away from Ricciardo. Porsche's fuel is just about turned positive. Gasly almost there. They should have engine failures just again. Yeah, they should. Absolutely, they should. Oh, here we go. This could be the run that Hamilton's been looking for. It was a poor exit from the banked corner. It's allowed him to close right from the back of Sainz. No, Sainz has held him off. And this is where I think Hamilton's got a better chance of passing than Sainz. I think Sainz is going to, shape up for a move, not be able to make the move, lose time, and get caught out by Hamilton. This is why I think that's going to be the first overtake in this little group here. But it's pretty close. I mean, Sainz has got almost as good a chance of getting past as he has of accidentally leaving the door open. Leclerc is now 4 seconds behind. Let's see, he's cleared the traffic. We are closing in on the back of Stroll. We've just got past Bottas, that's where we've been held up. That's not so good. Bottas is going to stick to the back of Porsche like glue because he's got fresher tyres. Forcing Porsche to go a little bit defensive. Try and break away a little bit. Just get him onto the back and past Albon. No, Stroll, sorry. Get Stroll out of the way, leave Bottas and Stroll to fight. Bottas followed him through. Okay, well this might help. It'll have two cars in each other's wheel tracks. That could potentially slow down Leclerc quite dramatically.
Keep an eye on the fuel, please.
Stroll just doesn't have the pace to keep up. Okay.
Seven laps to go.
He's almost there on fuel. I'd really prefer not to have to slow him down, but he's not far off where he needs to be. Verstappen is closing that gap again ever so slightly. And there's Bottas making a nuisance of himself again.
Recharge on.
And there we go, Gasly has reached 0 on his fuel, so he isn't going to need to do any left and coasting. He'll be fine now.
Six more laps. 6 more laps.
Go away, Bottas. Magnussen's still holding everybody back. He's doing a phenomenal job in 5th.
Five more laps. 5 more laps.
Copy.
Another lap or two and Bottas is going to be Leclerc's problem. It's probably going to happen this lap. Porsche is definitely going slow because on charging his battery he's losing all that acceleration in the, coming out the corners. Got to be really careful about how we do this.
Go recharge off when you're ready.
4 more laps, 4 more laps.
Okay.
Who knew the Danish Minister of Defence was here? Yeah, he's done a magnificent job. Right, now, Teo. Can you hold on? Got some battery to play about with. Got some spare fuel, not much, but a little bit of spare fuel. Tyres are on the edge, but they're on the edge for everybody. Claire's tyres slightly better. Stay on the inside line.
No more rain from what we can see. Keep us updated on track condition, please.
Oh, he swiped across me.
Advance the race position.
Three more laps, 3 more laps.
Bottas made this
No lift
as close as it was. If it hadn't been for Bottas, we wouldn't have had this issue. Curse the Finnish driver there. Right, up the inside. No, can't quite make the move. Can we get a run up here?
Good job. Can we do lift and coast?
And a new position, just gained by Williams.
Come on, Teo. You can do this. It's 2 more laps. Oh, Sainz has got past Magnussen. I've just spotted that. Going to be 2 very tricky laps. I need Bottas to start messing with Leclerc now.
1 more lap.
Come on, Teo, 1 more lap. You can do this.
It's Gasly, first over the line, and today's winner. We can take a look now.
And there we go, it's another win for Pierre Gasly.
Finishes in first place.
And that's what happens.
And it's been a
when you
pretty
drive
comfortable win.
with such skill and passion. They barely
Hasn't
could
really
have
had to
put
work
wrong.
too hard for it. This is always going to be a strong track for our car. But I did expect Verstappen to be a bit more of a challenge. I think the rain helped. And Porsche can hang on. And takes third, so a 1-3, a double podium. That's a great result. Can Magnussen hold off Hamilton and take P6? He should be able to. He does. What a great result for Haas. And a great result for Kevin. Good fight back from Leclerc and Hamilton, considering where they started on the grids. Some very strange strategies going on. Alfa Romeo completely imploding in that race there, putting both their drivers onto wets. I could understand the gamble with Alonso, but Bottas is
Well,
tired.
this weekend, Pierre
choice.
Gasly flew us to the stars.
Beggars belief. The track was already back in Inter territory when he came in.
Williams have got to be happy with their results here. This was good work.
It's really wonderful to see all the hard work they've been putting in paying off like this.
At the end of the weekend, it's second place in the constructor standings for them.
We now look ahead to the next round in Monza in Italy. The Temple of Speed is waiting and the teams will be ready and raring to go.
Alright, take it easy, Matthew. So there we go, a 1-2, not quite on the cards because of the rain. Maybe could have been on if it had stayed dry, who knows. But a 1-3, I'll definitely take that. That's Porsche's best result of the season, I think. We take a look at 7th win of the season for Pierre Gasly. 7 wins in 15, that is fantastic. He extends his gap over Leclerc in the championship. That is now a 75-point lead. Leclerc himself overtakes his teammate by a point. Carlos dropping to third. Max, his podium does help him close up a little bit on the two Ferraris and pull him away from his teammate, but he's still a distant fourth. He's 110 points off Gasly now. And Porsche, it's his second podium because he got the win, didn't he? So not his best result of the season, but you know, given the circumstances, a better result, I think, than his win in many respects. Certainly in holding off a charging Charles Leclerc at the end there. More points for Lewis. That moves him up, you know, a little bit further away from Bottas, his former teammate. Ocon knocking on the top door of the top 10 now. Norris picks up a point, a much needed point for McLaren. Magnussen, 8 huge points. That is going to do them the power of good in the Constructors' Championship. They close the gap right down now to AlphaTauri, just 3 points between those two teams. That extra point for McLaren does keep them kind of within spitting distance of the back of the Alpines. And here we see the Constructors. We take a big chunk out of Ferrari. The gap 27 points now. We extend our gap to Red Bull. Mercedes, again, another poor week for Mercedes, another poor race weekend. Alfa Romeo having an absolute nightmare, no points for them whatsoever. We get a development point for Gasly. And we get a nice sponsor payout as well. We hit our quali streak, which gives us a nice big income. So 6.3 mil nearly. New suspension manufacturing is complete. I think we've got a new vote. Let's have a look. We do. Financial changes. So, as you know, we changed the regulations, blah, 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 blah. In order to encourage excellence on the grid, we suggest a change to the season prize money amounts that favours better performing teams. So, we could give ourselves a bit of a boost here financially. It would see no change to 10th place, but everybody else from 9th to 5th would lose money, and everybody from 4th to the 1st would gain extra money. While that would be beneficial to us, I'm going to vote against that change because I believe, you know, the sport is better with a more even distribution of wealth. So we're going to vote against increasing the payout for the top teams. Let's take a look at our car setup. We've got a third suspension now for our suspension number 5. Brake cooling still bad. Still needs to be improved. Let's take a look at our front wings. We do need another front wing. Do I have one in development right now? Not for 30 days, it's a way off. So let's go ahead and actually manufacture a new front wing because we are going to need one or two. Let's go with 2. There we go. So we'll get both of those in time for Monza. In terms of projects that are currently going through, no research going through yet. We have another floor project on the way. That is our 3rd underfloor of the season. That is 32 days off, and then a new front wing which will help with cornering speeds and also improve our brake cooling a bit as well, and then some side pods to improve hopefully our drag reduction a little bit and certainly improve our engine cooling. So a little bit of a wait till we get those. We've got a month to go. Let's have a look at the calendar and see roughly when they're going to drop. So we're looking at the front wing, well, sorry, the side pods dropping right before Singapore, and then the front wing and the underfloor dropping right before Japan. So we're going to be doing a lot of emergency manufacturing to get the side pods in for Singapore, and then to get the front wing and the underfloor in for Japan. So we've got one more race basically. We've got a bit of a gap between Monza and then Singapore, so not too far away from our next car upgrade, and then that's gonna have to be it. I think we're gonna have to focus on next season from that point onwards. We do have a new ATR period starting right after the American Grand Prix, and that will be the final ATR period of the season. So after that we'll have very little time to actually get parts in before the end of the season. As you can see, we'll have 2 months of development time. Right, let's allocate the point to Pierre. We want to keep working on his reactions, I think. Try and get those up to 90. No point for Teo. Got a point for Logan though. He's picked that up through just background work. Will improve his cornering. Staffing. There's a way off till Simone Resta gets a new point. Tondi. He's a few weeks away. Josh is a few weeks away. Pierre is a few weeks away. Our pit crew. Still working on improving front and rear jacks. I'm going to go back to tyre change, get that up to 90 if we can, and then go back to... I'll probably actually start working on boosting our wing adjustment a bit, just in case we have wing changes needed in races. Let's take a look at our facilities. We do need another upgrade on the design centre, and we can afford that now. So this will give us additional engineers. You can see we've got a pretty strong wind tunnel CFD simulator, which is getting close to needing either an upgrade or a refurb. Our suspension simulator and car part test simulator are looking pretty strong as well. Factory is finally getting the upgrade that it's been dying for all season, and given its current condition, that's going to be a huge upgrade for us to get the speed up so much. We do need to work on upgrading these though, or refurbing these. That's a 4.6mm refurb. That's a 3mm refurb. That's a lot cheaper. Let's take a look at our other areas. The tour centre, I'm going to let that run down. That's fine. Helipad is fine. That's been recently done. Boardroom's fine. Weather centre is okay. Memorabilia room's fine. Don't have to worry about that. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop in the upgrade on the design centre, and then hopefully next season, because I don't think we're going to have the funds for it this year, next season we can try and get that up to its final level. It's going to be a 32 million upgrade, and we're going to have to do refurbishments, if not upgrades, to a lot of our facilities by the end of the season. So still only 3 parts that we can work on at a time into the beginning of next season. It's not going to be till probably the midpoint or end or near the end of next season when we get the final upgrade in for the design centre, just because it's so damned expensive, and I want to make sure we've got money at the end of the season. Let's take a look at Lando. Still has a negative outlook towards the team. How dare you. Getting these boosted will help. Well, getting the team hub improved will help. I am going to go ahead and refurb that now. I'm going to hold off on the race simulator for now. Need to keep some money in reserve, because even though we've got, Mons are coming, we've then got a 2-week break. We've got a lot of, as you saw, a lot of emergency work going to be needed, and then we're going to need money to start research projects as well. So we're not going to cripple ourselves to the point where we can't do what we need to do. And everything here is pretty good. We are 3 days away. Maybe that will be enough to entice Norris. We'll see. There is the upgrade. So that boosts our team attractiveness up by another 5% and another 15 points on top with the bonus ability there. Has that made enough of a difference? No. But maybe the team hub being refurbed and getting that will improve as well. If not, I'm sure at the end of the season he will be certainly a bit more interested. We are going to give Teo a few more races, I think, based on today, but we'll see how he does at Monza. Monza is a circuit where I think he may well struggle. I mean, his braking's pretty good, his cornering's not bad, his reactions are poor, which means his acceleration is not going to be good coming out of the chicanes. On top of that, his control is not the greatest, his accuracy is not the greatest, he's likely to run wide into the gravel a few times, he's likely to maybe spin. Yeah, I think this is going to be a race where Porsche is really going to struggle in comparison to Gasly. So we shall see tomorrow when we head to Monza. But for now, that is the end of tonight's stream. We've had a great race, a 1-3 finish. We have closed the gap to Ferrari at the top of the constructors. We have extended our gap at the top of the drivers. Teo is in triple digits and looking to close in on Perez. It's got a bit of a way to go yet before he can get up to 5th, but it's been a good weekend, a good race weekend for us, and I would expect Gasly to be very, very punchy at Monza as well. So until tomorrow, thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more F1 Manager very soon.